everyone, and welcome back to the WASD Benchmark YouTube channel. After a long time, I have the opportunity to test a very high-quality power supply and play a little with the internal components and topology. Let's see what the second version of the Asus ROG Thor Platinum has to offer. Asus sent us the ROG Thor 850 watts power supply in its second iteration, with Platinum efficiency certification to test. In addition to this, the ROG Thor series also has a 1000 watts and even a 1600 watts titanium certified power supply in its portfolio. But I think that this configuration of cables and 850 watts of power is enough for high-end computers. The power supply has everything a power supply should have in 2024. It is ATX 3.0 and PCIe 5.0 with a new 12-volt H power connector for modern graphics cards. All cables are what Asus calls slim, except for the SATA and Molex cables, which are straight and flat. And in addition to the new cable for RTX cards, there are also 3 PCIe connectors in a 6+2 configuration. To power the VRM section, the ROG Thor power supply has 2 EPS connectors, both in a 4+4 configuration. Anyone who knows the vocabulary and grammar of power will understand what I'm talking about, and if something is not clear to you, the comment section is at your disposal. All this comes with an incredible 10-year warranty. One of the things that sets ROG products apart from the competition is the contents of the box. In addition to the power adapter from the accessory, we have 2 power cables, one for the USA standard and the other for the European region. In a clear pouch, you'll find a manual, let's call it a pamphlet, and cable holders from Cable Mods, the company responsible for the part around the cables. There's Velcros, screws for installation, and a self-adhesive ROG metal sticker. Inside the case are all the cables we talked about in the special sleeved edition, except for the SATA, Molex, and floppy connectors, which are flat, but without the Cable Mods factory touch. I don't see this as a bad thing. All these connectors are temporary, and I think less and less people use them, so even if you do use them, none of them will be sticking out of the front of your computer. We have come to a star that shines, but literally shines. The ROG Thor has a grille on the top that gives contrast, negatively affecting the airflow performance. The good thing is, if you are keen on every degree, you can remove the grille and thus make a full airflow that offers a 135mm fan signed by Power Logic, a well-known company in this field. Not to go into details, you can clearly see what is where, and one of the special things that I would highlight is the OLED screen that shows the consumption, the button for 0 decibel technology. This means that the fan will not work at lower consumption, more precisely up to 40%, which is a great thing. We also have the side where all the connectors are located, but I would single out the connector for addressable RGB among the interesting ones. The interior of the power supply is quite well assembled and stamped by Asus. As for the board with connectors, the soldering is perfect. The passive heatsink is huge. The topology has only one Japanese capacitor declared at 105 degrees Celsius and is on the Tier 1 list. All the energy goes to the first transformer, which converts it into a 12 volts DC voltage, while the second transformer is used to get the 5 and 3.3 volts needed to run the computer. To be honest, we all know that this is a top-tier power supply. It has a Platinum efficiency certification, the second highest in the world of hardware power supplies. Only titanium is more efficient, and as a ROG product, it comes with countless details, both externally and internally, that set it apart from the rest of the competition. And always we have that aggressive gaming aesthetic that can be aggressive sometimes. But with the Thor power supply, everything is really in its place. It comes with a built-in OLED screen that shows in real time the total consumption of the system, or how much power the PSU is drawing from the network, and that's pretty cool if you ask me. It is true that there are different software for this parameter, and that you can easily measure it. There are also different power meters, but we have an insight into the consumption at any moment when we look. This is very important for me when I test some components. In America, it sells for $180-200 in various promotions, and in Europe the price goes up to 250 euros. All this makes my job very difficult, because on the one hand, you have an incredibly good product, but on the other hand, it is almost 50% to 100% more expensive than in the US, and how can I do a review? Well, the only way is to ignore the price and present the power supply with all its potentials, possibilities, and drawbacks, so you can decide if this power supply is really worth the money. That would be it for this review. I am interested in your opinion on this power supply, and we will get the first opportunity as soon as finances allow us to get expensive equipment to test and stress the power supply. See you soon.